To set Katana voice recording, we would use our specially created config tool, and we will start right now. First of all, it has plenty of help functions. If you just press onto any setting, you have help information, and uh, yeah. And let's start with, or actually, we will start from the right point with Wi-Fi and FTP settings. Wi-Fi connection. As you can see, there are several options. Basically, where they are used to set then the voice recorder should connect to the server. We will come back to it later. Now, let's just first look at the options. So. We will set Wi-Fi security, which is we always use WPA2PSK, and then the most important part, Wi-Fi SSID. That's the router where our server should connect. We just let's plug something in, whatever. You probably know the name of your server and the path. Okay, and then basically Wi-Fi is set. Now we will set the option how to connect it, because maybe sometimes Wi-Fi is not available, depends on how you will use it. So here we have a Wi-Fi attempt retry. That means how many times the voice recorder will try to connect to the server continuously, sort of try and try again if it fails, let's say for instance 5 times in a row. And then Wi-Fi attempt interval, in case if it still fails, then there is an interval before it will try another time. And well, let's put 1200 seconds, that's 20 minutes. And Wi-Fi attempt number, that's the number of attempts between after those intervals. So for instance, if we are not sure when the access point will be available, let's make it like 10 attempts in 20 minutes each. Okay, now going to FTP. You should know the FTP you are using. For this time we will use the FTP on our computer. So I will just plug in the IP address in my network. And we also need to put a port. Basically, regular is 21, but we just in case you can put any port you like. FTP user, give it some sort of a name. Don't forget to create this user on your FTP server. And FTP pass, whatever. Let's just write password. Well, okay. Time. Okay, basically we are setting Wi-Fi and FTP. Now let's go to other settings. One of the important settings is the time. You should know when the recorder recorded the audio, and then it should record it. So first of all, let's set the time zone. When you're in Europe, it's irregular +1. And time synchronization. That's an important point. If we use FTP once, the first time the device is turned on, it connects to FTP and synchronize the time with your FTP server. If we use FTP every time it connects to it, it also syncs the time. And the last one is from config file, just in case you're not sure what's the time on your FTP server. It will just take the time from the config file you created at the time you created, and set the clock for the voice recorder. Okay, so let's go to Wi-Fi connection attempts. We have several options here available, which is basically important for live stream, so we're not talking about it right now. But we have request, schedule, and we can turn Wi-Fi off to use, you see everything is turned off, to use the voice recorder just as regular voice recorder. And then we'll go to scheduled. In case of scheduled, you can set the voice recorder to connect to FTP server at any time according to any server. To set the time, we go to another tab, this wake up, and say set Wi-Fi wake up settings. We can set several rules, or we can delete some rules, pressing plus and minus, and the rules are basically done like that. First of all, we set the day that is once. In this case, we should set exact date and time. For instance, 25. Oh well, first it's time. Yeah, let's say 13 hours on the 25th of January. Doesn't matter. Let's say 2015. Okay, we can set it daily. That would be every day, and we just set the time. Let's say no, 36 is impossible naturally. Let's say at 5 o'clock, 5:15 in the morning. And we can say it, let's say, only Tuesdays at 17:17, and that's basically it. So we set up the Wi-Fi and FTP connection. Okay, now let's go to general settings, which we probably should have started, but those are used for saving the recording files, therefore we will go right now here. First of all, we need to give a name to the voice recorder. It is used to name the files and also to put them in the folder on the FTP server. Just let's go here, get it like Wi-Fi 1, whatever. LED, that's the indication for the voice recorder. We can turn it on and off. If you want the secret operation, turn it off. Battery voltage, let's put 3.5 volts. That's the minimum voltage for voice recorder to operate. In case it drops below it, the voice recorder will save all its files and turns off. Discretization. Discretization is basically the sampling rate. I usually use 16 kilohertz. Compression. Compression, we can use non-compression, that's just the raw file. We can use ADPCM, which compresses 16-bit quantization to 4-bit and makes from 256 kilobit per second per raw recording, compresses it to 64 kilobits in OGG, which is very high quality, very aggressive compression, which compresses 256 kilobit per second bit stream into 2025 kilobit per second, which is like really good. Microphone amplifier, I would recommend using like 12 to 24 decibels, but you can test for yourself. And then we go maximum recording duration, which is an important thing because you would not want like huge files like for several hours. You'll probably want to split them in the smaller files, let's say in 15 minutes each. And then we go to voice operating. We can turn it on and off clicking this box. Basically then it's enabled. It will record only there is some sound. Then it's disabled, it will record according to schedule. We will come to it later. And voice activation method, we have two. We have echo, which saves energy but is not as precise as pro. If there is no problem with energy conversation, use pro. With record stop, that's the time in seconds. Then the recording should stop after there is no sound is heard. Let's put like 8 seconds. As I said, live stream, we are not looking right now at it. And yeah, we left out this function. Then the recordings are uploaded to the server. They can be erased from the memory of the voice recorder, or they can be not raised, or they can be flagged. And flag is probably the best thing to use, because they will still be saved on the voice recorder, but they will be flagged that they are already uploaded. So they will not be uploaded another time, and if you will take out the SD card, you will also see that those are uploaded to the FTP server. And what's left? Yeah, what is left? We have to know when the recorder will record the voice. So we go again to wake up tab, and here we have record wake up settings. Same as with Wi-Fi wake up settings, we can set plenty of them, adding and deleting some of them. And here we have some options. We have you can see we can set that to always. Basically that means that the voice recorder records all the time, then it's just turned on. Quite good option to use with voice activation system. If you want to record everything what's happening, use this one and and enable voice activation right here. But if you want to have it at special times, you still have it. You have daily, just like in Wi-Fi recording. You can have weekdays, weekends, specific days, and stuff like that. Yeah, I know you also have once, just like for Wi-Fi setting. The difference here that you should not only give the time to start, but also the time to finish. So let's set it, let's say daily. Yeah, daily is more convenient. Let's say daily we want to start recording at 13 hours and at 17 hours, that's like 4 hours. But remember, we have the files are split according to time, and also if voice activation system is on, it will record only then there is some sort of sound. But let's say that on weekends we also want to record something later, let's say from 19:15 till 22 hours. We want to know what's happening at that time. Okay, and that's basically it. Now what we can do, now we have to create the file. There is a mistake. You can see the config tool checks all the fields, and if there is a mistake, it gives you and it throws an error. So here, because we're not using live streaming at the moment, we just put some numbers in here just to keep it working, and now we can create it. Okay, for recording we should save the config to SD card, and we should save it with the name config. Yeah, just replace it and use it. But as you can see here, I saved another config with a different name. It will not be used for voice recording, but you can use it for something different. Right here you can see we have some buttons. We have a button new, which actually erases all the fields, and you can plug in all the new information. We have defaults, which is like some sort of default settings, and we have load. And here load, you can send one on another config, and you have everything we saved before. So you can create configs with different names, which you will use later for later configuring. And that's about it for setting your device, your voice recorder, to work with an FTP server.